right, everybody, we're here on Daybreak. This is Game 6 now between StarTale and Prime for IPL Team Arena Challenge 3, lower round 6. And loser goes home. They get a little bit of money, but not the fun trip to San Francisco that they all want so badly.
They want the glory.
They want the glory.
That's right.
The fun trip to San Francisco is like just part of the glory, really. But StarTale.Curious picking up the pieces of his fallen comrades' hack and life as they couldn't hack it in life.
No.
So Curious is bringing it back for StarTale against ByuN.Prime now. Like you've mentioned a couple times, GSL Code S semi-finalist took it to Game 5 against MC, was it? Or
it was Seed, and he barely lost. In fact, I feel like he really had a very realistic chance of winning that Game 5 against Seed as well. But Seed proving to be a little bit stronger of a player. That match, but regardless, ByuN's a great player. What?
Yeah, no Protoss yet in this series. All Terrans and Zergs up to this point.
All right,
that's a bit surprising.
Yeah, it is. I can guarantee you, though. I mean, I feel like if ByuN goes down, then we're almost certainly guaranteed to see creators. So there we go. Maybe we'll see a Protoss later on.
I was just thinking, like, StarTale still has Squirtle and Parting available, and Prime, of course, still has Creator waiting in the wings. So it's likely we'll see a Protoss somewhere.
Here's the thing, though. Like, ByuN is easily good enough to win this for Prime. Marine King so often in interviews has said that he feels like ByuN is better than he is. Well, I don't agree with Marine King at all on that particular point. ByuN is no doubt a talented player. So what I'm really curious now is in this third ZVT with Curious, are we going to see 3-hatch again versus Terran? Daybreak is certainly a map he can do it on.
That's a good point. You think they would throw in a Protoss at this point after him dismantling 2 Terran players in a row?
On Daybreak? Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
We could choose the map. They could have chosen a Protoss-friendly map.
Yeah. Marine King keeps using up Entomb Valley. They're like, oh, Creator's like, oh, man.
That was mine.
I wanted that.
He never lets me have Entomb Valley.
Well, Marine King's good on Entomb Valley, no doubt.
That's true.
I mean, it's
basically his home turf.
No third hatchery really quick for Curious, so playing things a little bit safer this time. That's a good decision. ByuN.Prime is definitely a player that's not afraid to throw out a cheese, throw out an all-in on a regular basis.
They just observed him doing 3-hatch twice in a row.
Exactly.
So doing it a third time is pushing it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's a good decision by Curious. He does have gas as well, so he's going to be able to get Zergling speed very, very quickly, too. Perhaps do an attack not unlike his teammate StarTale Life likes to do, that 30 speedling attack in the natural expansion. ByuN.Prime will see everything, though, so he should be able to prepare appropriately for that.
That's true, and he's got his wall finishing up right now at the top of the ramp. His next command center is about third of the way done.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, no refineries just yet. Makes me think Bio could be an early start for him, as opposed to just a couple. Well, a couple of Hellions could work too, but you're going to need a lot more gas to get that running. You know,
he's saving up for what could be a third command center as well. In fact, I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
he started a third command center. Wow, off of 1 barracks. Man, and this is ByuN. ByuN is like such a smart player. He's like, all right, you didn't go 3-hatch this time because you're worried about me all-inning you, so I'm going to do the complete opposite. I'm actually going to go for an incredibly greedy economic build and then kind of take advantage of that. So 3 command centers for ByuN, 2 gas immediately afterwards, so he's going to be able to get those Hellions out fairly quickly here. And the nice thing with the Terran race, of course, is that you don't need to move out and take your third base right away. You can sit in your main or natural with your third command center, saturate that really, really well, maybe even oversaturate a little bit, so that when it is safe to take that third base, you can already have some SCVs ready. You can make sure that it goes off, without a hitch.
And Curious might scout into the main, probably not, though. The wall off is
not
complete.
At this point. Yeah.
So and there's those Marines at the front. So ByuN's feeling pretty safe with his decision. I feel like obviously he can just dance these Marines out for a while before Curious is going to have enough links to actually slaughter them. So everything basically looking good for ByuN so far. Curious, obviously, I mean, he hasn't been victim to any aggression or anything yet. So he's also just setting up for the mid game here. No third. There's that drone. All right.
Okay.
So I saw the minerals get over 200, and I figured that should probably be spent by now. So third base is coming up for actually both players. This one is nearly done, but hasn't actually floated over yet. So that'll be interesting. If Curious drops like a Ling or an Overlord somewhere in this position, that might actually benefit him quite a lot, just information-wise. And this factory coming up for ByuN means he will be able to make a couple of Hellions.
Yeah, be able to get a little bit of map control back from the Zerglings at that point. I do like that Curious is not exactly moving out across the map right now. If you look at where his overlords are, he's got them in like a nice little line in front of his base. He's starting to move them at this point. Well, some of them, that one. Oh, no, actually, no, he's not.
He's keeping it,
He's actually just keeping them there.
Yeah. He's
nice.
Got good coverage, though.
Yeah, watching for drops. It's not bad. He won't be able to do anything like sacrifice an overlord into the main base to scout or anything like that, which I think is, it's always good to have an overlord there to be able to do that. But this isn't bad either. This is good, just kind of normal, safe play out of StarTale Curious.
Yep, he's got his first wave of Hellions done now and has not started to move yet. Makes me wonder if he's going to wait for 4 or even 6 Hellions. Sometimes you see those numbers get ridiculous before they move out, or he could just use it to transition into like a big ball of Terran death and go for some, you know, mighty swing instead of harass, just to deal with any Zerglings at the front of whatever Curious is going to have at that point. But we have a Baneling Nest and Spire coming up, so mutiling Baneling again, sort of like the game we saw against, who was it? Not MKP. Was it MKP?
Maru on Ohana.
It was against Maru, yeah.
Okay.
He had lots of mutiling Baneling going on against Maru.
Yeah. Now, it looks like we have a 1-1 push with Siege Mode coming out from ByuN.Prime. He actually started Stimp for just a moment and then canceled it. So he's planning on going for a little bit earlier attack, probably going to try to take his third along with this. And so far, you know, he's doing everything he can to keep Curious on his side of the map. And there we go. So Stim restarted right now for ByuN. So it looks like he just wanted to have Siege Mode a little bit earlier to stay a little bit safer. And if you're planning on taking an early third, that does make sense. But it will also allow him to hit that nice 10-11 minute timing that Terran's used to hit all the time, but it's kind of become a little bit more rare. But in this case, I feel like it's going to potentially be pretty good because Curious is going for that very, very quick Spire, and if ByuN moves out around the time that the mutalisks are made, there's not going to be a lot of larva or resources for Curious to use to defend that if it comes down to it.
And right now, so the Spire just finished. Always look at the gas to see how many mutas you can expect right away. So he can crank out 8 or 9 immediately, which is nice. We'll see if he actually ends up using all of that, or if he's just going to continue teching up.
That's smart. Okay, so he is going up to 9 now. Initially just made 5. I feel like he was kind of a little bit unsure about if he wanted to save some for Banelings, potentially throw down that Baneling Nest. Oh, wow!
Infestation pit.
He caught the tank. That is actually huge here.
His slings are doing work.
Yeah, no kidding. This is just going great. This is actually really hurting any chances ByuN had of making a push. I don't think he can now.
Yeah,
he just cannot push.
Are all popping out now, so great timing there.
Yep.
And he did keep a Ling nearby that third base, so he knows exactly. So even though this orbital was done forever ago, we look at the worker count, they're actually dead even on workers. Oh, another round of drones just finished. But this orbital was done forever ago, and it's just now landing at 11 minutes in. So
well, with the ability to make 3 mules as well, his economy is going to be going, you know, absolutely fine. Here come those first initial mutas. Remember, 5 mutalisks is enough to one-shot a worker. So that's kind of the magic number when you first start making them. You want to always have enough for at least 5, but as we can see,
I like that, taking out the SCVs that are busy building things, and there's a couple of idle ones as well. The main is not mining at all right now, so these mutas are doing a great job of keeping ByuN busy.
Got to be a little bit careful, though. Still don't want to lose too many mutas. He's got 5 more on the way. So look at this. Curious just going for a huge mutalisk style.
Yeah, and there's no defense. Oh, actually one turret up at the top of that range there, but he can just bounce around. Obviously, Daybreak has pretty good connectivity between the main natural and third base, but there's just no turrets here at the natural to slow these down.
Now, Curious does need to be a little bit careful here. He's kept most of his mutas alive, but he has still lost a good amount. The rest that are left have kind of low health here.
He can get out with all of these right now.
Yeah, I feel like Curious kind of overdid it a little bit with the mutas, losing another one right there. How many does he have total on the map right now?
So
probably
we've got
pretty good.
17
Still 17,
mutas.
yeah.
Another wave got created. Let's see how many workers are actually killed. 19 total so far in this game. Not bad at all. He does have that supply lead, 136 to 112, as you'd expect, with Zerg against Terran at this point in the game. 4th base coming up now for Curious, and he's moving around with 2 flocks. Actually, I thought this was going to be a second
flock of Zerglings.
Yeah, it's actually a flock of Zerglings, but they're gonna join up all the mutas together here. Only 1 turret and a handful of Marines, but I feel like there are better places to attack into right now.
Yeah, he's still going to be able to handle the Marines pretty easily here, going after some SCVs, turning around, going after the supply depots as well. There's even a supply depot with call down supply, and he takes that out. Nice. A little bit annoying for ByuN, but he gets a muta.
And
in
ByuN
return.
is supply capped right now as a result of that, so that definitely was a great move. The Lings not doing anything on their own. They could have tried here. I was going to say they could have done some damage, but they could have tried to do some damage and instead be blown up by tanks, as we see now.
They're doing right now. Yeah. Okay. So.
All right. So
that's
thank you, Curious, for for doing that.
Yeah.
To illustrate the theory. Let's go back to production tab, see what's going on. Baneling speed now, 1-1 upgrades on melee and ground. What is that? Oh, yeah, flyer
carapace. Yeah, flyer carapace. So, you know, Curious saying, all right, I know my mutas are going to have to fight Marines a little bit, so I want to have them live slightly longer, so it's better for me now to go for a carapace and get that upgraded as well. And ByuN at the same time, just continuing to get those bio upgrades, combat shields. Almost done right now. Oh, and the missile turret does survive. Look at the supply, though. ByuN keeping up almost exactly with Curious. This is the strength of getting the 3 command center build going really, really early. You're able to keep up on supply in a lot of ways. Losing that reactor hurts a little bit, but ByuN, you just cannot count him out of this game just yet.
The mutas are trying to keep ByuN busy. The sensor tower is up now for ByuN. I like that move, obviously, as it's covering his entire third and natural from these massive Lings that keep threatening and growing in size. So 25 Banelings being made somewhere. None of these even are being created, but here we go. 25 Banelings in production. So where he's going to have to come through here, right? He can't roll all the way over here and expect
He could do it, but there are some siege tanks there. Curious kind of feeling some pressure to move out and do some damage. He does have his hive finishing right here. I'm not sure if this is really the best time for him to attack. I mean, he's got a decent army. Taking out another reactor there, it looks like.
Yeah.
But ByuN is even on supply pretty much. I mean, I don't think Curious realizes that.
How did those get there?
Oh, I don't know what those guys are doing, but whatever. He does get another muta. I wonder if Curious isn't quite aware of just how close ByuN has kept things. Because ByuN, even though he can't really move out on the map, hasn't really been slowed down all that much. Now he's starting to move out. 3-3 should be done. It is getting closer to being done, but it looks like he just wants to kind of get up there and get some more presence out on the map to start off with.
Well, it was 80 drone. When I just tabbed over there, it was 80 drones to 65. So he is keeping an economic sort of lead here, but ByuN has passed him in supply.
Wow.
Until just that second.
Until
but
just then. Now
let's look
tied.
what he's actually building. Tons of Marines, medevacs, and tanks at this point. And 2 more starports on the way, which is interesting.
Yep. Oh, man. ByuN getting close to those units there. And he sees all the Banelings.
Yeah, baiting the
Banelings. Them all.
Trying to get them in that siege tank range so he can just blast them all down before they're a threat. No flank possible here for Curious just yet. He's just too far spread out from his forces. Scan goes down and he sees these swarming up, so that's going to be a great benefit for him. He knows not to unsiege at a silly time.
Siege tanks! Oh, nearly getting a nice shot on those Zerglings. Curious, a master of choosing where to fight, but he's going to need to be so careful about engaging this. He might want to just go kind of around the outside and up the ramp behind him.
So this is interesting. Greater Spire just finished and 8 Broodlords already in production.
Yeah, Curious's macro is just looking awesome right now. ByuN, though, you know, at the same token, he's higher on supply. Here we go. Those Banelings are so clumped up. Oh, that did not go well.
Tanks. There's no tanks. They're all the way back here.
I think he did get one good shot off on that. I don't know.
I think those were triggered.
Not efficient. That was not efficient for Curious.
Because the closest tank was like way down here, and most of the action happened in this range. He might have got a blast around here, but I think he did. I don't think I saw one. So either way, lots of units exchanged there from both sides, and now ByuN is in a good position at the bottom of this ramp to be able to take out this base. Oh, that was definitely a good blast from that siege tank. But these mutas and Broodlords not quite in position yet. He's just a little bit too slow, and he may lose this hatch as a result.
He certainly could, but here come the Broodlords. Not a lot of Infestors out right now for Curious, so he's not going to be able to slow down any Marines that try to run at him. That's why he's trying to keep those Banelings. Oh, but he needs to keep them alive. And all those tanks are in serious jeopardy.
They're definitely going down.
Yeah. But look at this. Marines getting lost. He does take out a Broodlord. And look at the supply, though. ByuN, 30 supply down, but he's making 11 Marines at once. He's making 2 more tanks. He's making Vikings.
More units caught.
Ooh, yeah.
Very nice there for Curious. He's going to continue this attack, it looks like. He does have these Broodlords. Infestor count, you noted, was pretty low at this point. Where is it? Only 2 on the field right now. A wave of 5 showing up now, so he's going to need those basically to form up before he can try to crack through this front base.
Yep. ByuN looking a little bit vulnerable right now.
He's still trying to do some base hunting on the top of the map while he knows where the army is. If there was a hatch up there, it'd be great, but now there's gonna get surrounded and killed.
Yeah, you know, ByuN. ByuN.
ByuN.
His upgrades were so good. He kept up his supply so nicely.
Man, those lings, just a sacrifice to the Terran gods, I guess.
Yeah.
All right,
More
so
corruptors on the way, though. I mean, he, to a certain extent, doesn't need to worry that much about losing some of the supply as long as he can replace it with corruptors, broodlords, infestors, all that kind of thing. Looks like he wants to attack here.
Income, they're pretty even as well.
Oh, there are Vikings there. The mutas can't get too close because of the Marines. And looks like Curious is going for it. Here we go.
Oh, nice fan out of the Marines,
oh,
actually.
Man.
Nice fungal as well.
Those Banelings did not connect at all. They all detonated on that siege tank, and ByuN, with all those medevacs, healing right through the fungal growth. Curious may have made a serious mistake here.
Yeah, these 3/3 Marines are shredding through all of these forces, surviving the fungals. So the medevacs actually were the star there, keeping those big clumps of Marines alive as long as possible through the fungals. Managed to nab most of the Banelings before they could splash into anything. So,
well, once the medevac count gets high enough, fungal is not worth anything if you don't have any Banelings to follow this up with. Curious's Banelings all went on that, 1 or 2 tanks. He lost like probably about 10 to 15 Banelings like that. They didn't even get close to the Marines, and that made that a pretty easy fight to win for ByuN. So now we have a situation where Curious needs to remake his tier 3 tech. He's switching over to Ultralisks. Still does have Infestors. Infestors plus Ultras plus Banelings is a pretty good composition, but ByuN is moving in right now, and he's got pretty close to even supply.
Yeah, 2-0 upgrades on mech as well. It looks like 2-2 for these ground units, these Ultras and Lings and Banelings. Also sitting in 2-2, but
goodbye.
Yep, tank not standing a chance there. He's got pretty good positioning there, though, inside range of his sensor tower. So
he lands everything. Here we go. Banelings trying to split up here. The siege tanks targeting the Banelings, the Infestors bungling everything, and the Ultras are not surviving long enough to do damage.
Yeah, the Corruptors are doing nothing in this fight.
Oh, man, yeah. Oh, picks up the Vikings. He knows he can handle that one Ultralisk, and things starting to look a little bit rough. Right now, Curious still does have the supply lead. He's on 6 bases right now, so his economy is still doing really well. He still has plenty of drones. He's got more harvesters than ByuN does, but ByuN's just won 2 fights in a row. That 4th base that he has is going to be very secure, trying to take his 5th base too, so this game is still long from over.
What does Curious need to do now? What unit composition is going to be best against these Marine tank Viking combo that ByuN is rolling out?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is just trying to surprise your opponent with your tier 3 tech. He's got kind of a mix right now of Ultras. He needs to make sure that he is able to get the Banelings to connect with the units that he fungals. That's kind of the big key here, is that if he attacks into places where his Banelings aren't going to get there, when they're going to get targeted down by siege tanks too quickly, it's all going to be wasted resources at that point.
That's true, and I love just the move of moving the Marines between minerals like that, maximizing their uptime. I love that. But we've got a base under siege here now. It looks like Curious is going to be the one doing some attacking. ByuN does have this massive force coming up now, though, to try and defend this. Tons of 3/3 Marines. These tanks, are they at 3-0 yet? No, just 2-0. 3 is going to be done very soon.
That looks like kind of a small army. I mean, when you see it like that, bungling those Marines, only gets like 4 of them, trying to keep that Infestor alive. He does keep it alive. The army for ByuN, though, looking so scary right now. +3 vehicle weapons is about to finish. More Ultras on the way, +3 ground attacks, and oh man, a couple units being taken out. Curious can't afford to lose anything right now. And here we go. Can he do enough damage?
It looks like Curious's army is so tiny for how much supply he has.
Yeah.
And it just got obliterated.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is in
Ultralisks
that he can't really attack with. It's in things that are still in the production queue. Yeah, 6 Corruptors that he doesn't have time to turn into Broodlords. And things are just looking a little bit rough for Curious right now.
He's got a tiny bit of a counterattack against the orbital, but of course it can just lift off.
Yeah.
Vikings actually having a buffet of Overlord at the moment, while these Marines just sweep through this top extra base here. Curious, his income is going to fall as a result of that a little bit. Actually, he still looks pretty stout on the income front, but I don't like these Corruptors just doing nothing. Like, go ahead and flip them over, man. You got some cash.
Well, I mean, he's thinking to himself, all right, my mineral count is getting a little bit lower. I need to make sure that I have, first of all, enough Banelings and Infestors to survive any attack here. He's sticking with Ultralisks because he notices that ByuN is not really switching over to Marauders all that much just yet. He's still making Vikings. So Curious, is kind of making the correct unit composition choice, but on Daybreak, there's just a lot of places where it's really bad to attack with this composition. Ultra's coming in right now. The Banelings kind of stuck behind. A lot of them getting taken out by the siege tanks.
Whoa, so many tanks. I did not expect to see that as we panned up there. Fungal's landing on basically everything, but look at that just massive blood that these Marines and Marauders are so happy to just wade through.
It's all about that positioning, and that was not a good one to attack from for StarTale.Curious. That's now like the 3rd or 4th battle he's lost in a big way. Now the Marauders are out for ByuN.Prime, so now he does have to switch back to Broodlords. It's exactly what he's doing. 6 more on the way. Has to remake some Infestors.
8 siege tanks staggering forward now, and with these Marauders with so much health and medevacs overhead, they can bait units in or just take the hatchery unopposed.
I think they will, Marauders kill buildings so quickly. And Banelings are not going to be of any help at all. So now Curious down to just 1 mining base at the moment. He is doing a counterattack up here.
But to what end, right? Because there's not much happening up here. He's losing vital bases with all these Marauders on his creep, basically. And, I mean, even these Ultras are going to go down to the few Marines and Marauders that are actually here.
Yep, that's right. And ByuN's army continues to roll on. He's now 30 supply ahead right now, 40 supply ahead.
He's got cash in the bank, too, man. He's able to remax.
You know, I feel like Curious had a decent lead early on in that game economically, but he's just made a lot of bad decisions when it comes to positioning and attacking, which is an uncharacteristic thing for him. I feel like he's genuinely one of the better Zergs at choosing when and where to fight, but not this game. He just has not made a lot of great choices.
Well, I like that he finally turned those Corruptors over into Broodlords. I've been waiting for them. You see how quickly he just repels the remaining forces there? I mean, that's kind of a factor.
Broodlords are tough to deal with.
Yeah, it's a factor of how many tanks and Marauders are on the field, though. I mean, you see that incoming, you know Broodlords are going to be somewhat safe from that. I mean, he doesn't have to move all the Corruptors over, right? He could have made 4 Broodlords and kept the other 2 as Corruptors to just run escort for them, but... Well,
ByuN's got an absolutely deadly composition now. I mean, he's got Marauders, tanks, and Vikings. He doesn't have any upgrades for the Vikings yet. He's getting +1 weapons right now, but that composition, Marauder, tank, Viking, handles pretty much everything that Zerg has. A lot of Terran players aren't even bothering with Ghosts anymore, you know, since the nerf to snipe and EMP. And I feel like the way that ByuN is doing it is pretty good. He's actually making 2 more starports. I wonder if we may even see something like a fleet beacon here.
A fleet beacon?
Yeah.
Something like a fleet beacon?
Not a fleet beacon.
So
and when I say
core.
something like a fleet beacon, I mean fusion core.
Obviously.
Yeah, you get it. All right, good.
Yeah. No, I'm totally right there with you.
That's right. I don't even remember the name of the building because we hardly ever see it.
He's building another armory, though, so it looks like he does want to continue maybe making vehicle armor upgrades,
air upgrades
as well as the air upgrades. So he is just going to drop a ton of Marauders into the main, pick off these Flamethrowers and Queens, and find that tech, right? So he's going to go for the Ultralisk Cavern, possibly. The Vespene Geyser is already depleted, so probably didn't need to attack that, but he's going to go for these production facilities, the hatch and the hive.
And that makes sense, too.
There's a small counterattack happening.
Yep. He's going to be able to get the tank.
Oh, here we go.
And here's the big fight right now. Are there enough Infestors to let these Broodlords do the damage? There's so many Vikings, so there is no way that Curious, GG. That is it, man. When he saw those Vikings, he knew it was over, and Prime